What is going on, guys? All right, so you have seen the title of this video. You know what this is about. This is the Carcano, the 6.5 Carcano. This is the M91 24 that I just picked up. I got this one at Bud's for 250 bucks. I think PSA's selling them for about that price too, and there are probably some other places too. There were apparently thousands of them. I heard anywhere from 15 to 30,000 of these things have been imported in crates, and so they're going for a decent price. 250 is not too bad. But this is the one that I got. It just got delivered today. It took Bud's about 4 days to get it to me. I ordered it on over the weekend. Of course, they don't do any shipping or anything on the weekend. And today is Thursday, 4 days later, and here you go. It's that's in all right shape. Stock's pretty dinged up. I don't know what I'm going to do with the stock. Lots of dings in it. Chunks taken out of it here and there. Got a, I don't know if you guys can see that crack right here. This crack right there. Once I take it apart, we'll see how deep that is and if that's something I can repair. You know, we've got rust on it. It's covered in greasy cosmoline. You know, the sight's like actually stuck with cosmoline, so this thing's rusted. So I have to loosen that up. Action's nice though. Action's very nice. Decent. I mean, you know, I kind of compare these to a Mosin, basically. You know, these things were built in mass, in bulk, during the middle of a war, so they're not very refined guns, but they work. So yeah, I mean, this is what we've got for before. It's a fairly old, beat-up trash rifle, but exactly what you would expect, given this was probably manufactured somewhere around World War II. So it's at least probably 80 years old, give or take. So there you go. I was actually surprised it did actually come with the cleaning rod. A lot of times these things are suspiciously missing a cleaning rod. This one is not, so that's kind of cool. But anyway, this is the before, and through, of course, the wonderful magic of editing and time, you guys probably won't see much of the process, but let's go ahead and see what we can do with it. We're going to get it cleaned up, stripped down. I'm going to try and get all the cosmoline off. We're going to get all the rust off, see if there's any things that need to be, you know, patched up or fixed internally. We're going to see what we can do with the stock, and let's just see if we can get this thing at least back to some of its former glory. So there you go. Again, here's your before, and let's see what it looks like when all's said and done. Alright, well, here we are. I got the gun apart, and it's a mess. It is covered in cosmoline, and it's got lots and lots of surface rust. Of course, you know, because this stuff is this was under the wood for, you know, I don't know, 80 years or whatever, who knows. So lots of surface rust, but nothing that I can't get rid of with a little quadruple alt steel wool and some oil. Again, once I decosmoline it, because right now it's just packed full of gunk everywhere, so I'm gonna have to really, really scrub this thing down before I can do it there. And you can see we got rust all inside here. This thing, I finally got it moving, barely. Bolt looks actually really good. Bolt's the best part about it. It doesn't have really any rust on it or anything. It is covered in cosmoline, but that's good. We've got the magazine body. You can see we got rust there, some rust inside. It's all surface rust. I don't see any real deep pitting on this thing, except maybe a little bit right there. But I think I can sand that down and get that taken care of. Cleaning rod's fine. Stock seems good on the inside. We still got this crack I got to deal with. I don't know. I'm going to see if I can salvage it, but you know, we'll see where it goes from there. I got to take this butt plate off right there, clean that up. But there you go. That is it all taken down. A lot of cleaning left to go, so I'm going to get right to it. Alright, breaking in one more time before you get to see the finished product. I've got everything stripped down and where I want it and cleaned up. Stock was the biggest issue, just because as dinged up as it was, I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out, and it's okay. It's worth refinishing. The crack isn't as bad as I thought. It's not as deep as I thought. I think it's going to be fine. I'm going to restain it. You see I've a mixture of simple green and hydrogen peroxide. Basically took the color out of this so that I can restain it and clean it up. I got as much of all those hammer dings or whatever they were here out as I could. I still got a little ding in here that I just couldn't get out. Still some discoloration there. It's a little rough here. So it's got its issues. It's not perfect, but I think it'll look much better once it's been you know, stained and coat of sealant on there, and then we'll go from there. So that's where we're at with that. And then of course we've got the little top piece there. Then I've got these parts right here, basically soaking in oil. They've been cleaned up, all the cosmoline room, that kind of thing. I did have to, if you remember, I had a bunch of buildup of rust all around here, and back here. So I basically filed that off. I reshaped this piece here after filing all the rust off. It was significant right there. And then so I went back and re-blued just these little points here that it needed to be re-blued on, where I had to file off some of the deep pitting. But this seemed to be the only piece that really had any major deep pitting. All the rest of this stuff seemed fine. Back plate seemed fine, but I'm just keeping it oiled up. So these are all just the little parts I've got in here, just kind of soaking in oil. And then of course we've got the barrel and the receiver and everything. Did disassemble everything. Bolt's in great shape. Didn't really have to do much to that. Took the trigger apart. Did go ahead and give it a little bit of a polished job on the trigger, just to kind of smooth out the trigger a little bit, and it did help. It did make a bit of a difference. This is a little bit more of a complicated trigger than a Mosin-Nagant. You got basically 4 moving parts in here, and then a spring, as opposed to a Mosin-Nagant, which is, I think, 2 parts and a screw, or 3 parts and a screw. I can't remember what it is. Anyway, but the action is pretty nice for what this is. You know, let's be honest here. Pretty nice for what it is, and it's all cleaned up. You see we got all the surface rust off. Bluing looks good. I'm not going to touch up the bluing or do anything to it. I'm just going to leave it as it is, nice, cleaned up. The barrel was caked with cosmoline. It took a long time to clean out the barrel, but I got that done. And then of course got all the surface rust off of the cleaning rod. But that's it. That's where we're at right now. So I'm going to finish the stain and everything on the stock, get this thing slapped back together, and we'll see what it looks like when it's done. And here we are. One pretty decently, in my opinion, restored Carcano. We de-rusted it. We got rid of all the cosmoline, little bluing touch-up work here, some of that pitting and stuff that we had on this thing here. Same thing that I did back here with the butt plate. Just sanded it down, nice oil bath, and then a little bit of bluing on here just to kind of seal it up. Even the sling swivels now actually move, you know, which is nice. You want these to actually move. Like I said, did the trigger job. The stock was the biggest part of it, honestly, just because, you know, it had a lot of issues, a lot of dings, a lot of dents. It does have the crack in here, but the crack doesn't seem to be too deep or significant from what I can tell. I think it'll be just fine. Went with a dark English chestnut color, just to kind of, on top of what I did at stock, just to kind of continue to kind of cover up some of the imperfections in the stock that just aren't as noticeable now, now that it's a darker color. Like I said, did some trigger work on the inside, a little polish job, and you can actually tell a difference. It does make a considerable difference on the trigger as far as just nice, smoother trigger. These guns do have a lot of take-up. There's a lot of take-up in them, but when they break, this one in particular now, with just a little bit of light polishing on all the connection points inside on the trigger, the sear, and everything, makes a huge difference. It's nice, man. I like it. Can't wait to get this thing out and shoot it. Did have to clean the barrel out a lot. Like I said, it was packed with cosmoline and crap. That was probably the worst part when it came to the cosmoline. They really packed the barrel with cosmoline. It was nasty. It took a long time to clean out. But there you go, man. Not bad for a nice Milsurp $250 rifle. I mean, you know, as of the time I'm making this video anyway, 250 bucks at Bud's, Palmetto State Armory. I think even Royal Tiger Imports had these things for like $220 or $230. But then you had to pay like another 20 bucks shipping. So either way, about $250 right now. The only place I could find ammo was SG Ammo, but you know, at least decent ammo that they were actually in stock. But still, man, you know, not bad. Ammo I think is only like 20 bucks a box, you know, which is pretty much in line with, you know, most of your 30-06, 270, 308, that kind of stuff, depending on what kind you buy, how high end you buy it. But 20 bucks a box for rifle ammo is decent. Especially in today's market right now, 2020. But I think it came out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. I like it. So I've got some future plans for this. So we are going to be making some changes to it. But just to get it back to as a restored of a rifle as we could, this is what we got. So there you go. All right, that's going to do it for me. So you got any questions or comments, anything like that, leave that down below, and we will talk to you guys later. Thanks.